My best friend always uses me to test her boyfriend's loyalty. She sends him suggestive messages from my account, orders lingerie in my name, then gets a thrill watching him shut me down and declare devotion to her. This time she invited me to dinner and had her boyfriend, Julian, serve me food while she watched with a sly smile. I was mortified until comments flickered in my vision. The rich protagonist uses our girl because she's insecure. The male lead actually loves the side character. She even sabotaged her scholarship and sponsored her to stay close. Sienna, just eat the food. Use this guy to climb up. Let's see who laughs last. It took me a long moment to process what I just read. I had never not for a second imagined that the anonymous tip that cost me my scholarship all those years ago had come from my best friend. For years I had been profoundly grateful to Claire. When I had nowhere else to turn, she paid for my education. I considered her my truest friend. Even after I paid back every cent, I continued to do everything in my power to repay her kindness. No matter how absurd her schemes to test Julian were, I would grit my teeth through his condescending glares and humiliating remarks, sending those degrading messages for her. I told her again and again that she and Julian were childhood sweethearts, that he was with her because he loved her, but she refused to believe it. She would move heaven and earth to test him, needing to see that cold rejection in his eyes before she could be satisfied. Before coming here tonight, I had been so excited. I thought that since it was my birthday, Claire's dinner invitation was a surprise party. Turns out she just found another online trick to test her boyfriend and I was the sacrificial lamb yet again. Seeing my stunned silence, a flicker of triumph danced in Claire's eyes. She leaned against Julian, her voice a casual, airy purr. Sienna, sweetie, go ahead and eat. Julian already put it on your plate. I don't mind. She said she didn't mind, but her eyes were glued to my chopsticks, terrified I might actually take a bite. The comments scrolling past my eyes were furious, pretending her eyes are practically burning a hole in that plate. I'd love to see her keep smiling if our girl actually eats it. Let's be brave. Can we please stop being her free pawn? Shovel it in right in front of him. Our girl needs to piss this pampered princess off for good. I looked at Claire's innocent doll-like face and thought of the scholarship she'd stolen from me. Of all the time she'd played me like a fool. My grip on my chopsticks tightened. She loves testing Julian's feelings for her. She loves testing to see if I have any designs on her boyfriend, right? Fine. I'll help her out. Happening back to the present, I deliberately picked up the piece of asparagus he had placed on my plate. I covered my mouth with one hand, my voice a breath of feigned surprise. Oh sweetie, how did Julian know asparagus is my absolute favorite? You must have told him. You are the best, Claire. With that, I turned to Julian and gave him a brilliant smile. Well, in that case I won't be shy. Thank you, Julian. The effect was instantaneous. The smile froze on Claire's lips. I had just made up the asparagus thing, but she bought it completely, believing Julian had ordered it specifically for me. Her lips thinned into a pale line and her fingers dug into his shoulder, knuckles white. After all these years I knew that look. It was the quiet simmering of rage. After finishing the bite, I turned to her with deliberate concern. Honey, are you feeling alright? You look so pale. Should we get you to a doctor? Her expression flickered through a storm of emotions. She was seething but couldn't show it, forced to swallow her anger and maintain her magnanimous facade. No, I am fine. Sienna, if you like it, have more, she said, her voice tight. My hands were just full a second ago. That is why I asked him to help. Julian is always so thoughtful, looking out for my friends and me. Don't get the wrong idea though. Ghostly comments were rolling their eyes so hard they could have powered a generator. Repeating that last phrase. Don't get the wrong idea though. Yes, this is what I am talking about. Sienna should have been calling her out like this from the start. That two-faced little princess, weren't you the one who just told her to eat it? Why isn't the little princess smiling anymore? I thought you didn't mind. What happened to that happy face? He only ever pulls these petty tricks on people who care about her. If Sienna ever decided to actually fight back, Claire wouldn't stand a chance. Look. The male lead's expression shifted. I think his opinion of our girl is changing. He used to think her hesitation was a ploy to seduce him, but now that she is being so open and direct, he is the one who is flustered. Following the comments, I glanced at Julian. The face that had always been a mask of icy disdain toward me now showed the faintest crack. Years, he had never given me a single pleasant look. After every one of Claire's tests, he would flash his girlfriend a weary but indulgent smile, then turn to me with a cold warning. Sienna, whatever your goal is, I suggest you stop. Claire is sensitive. As her friend, you should know where the line is. His words were always blunt, painfully clear in his eyes. I was nothing more than a manipulative social climber. But faced with Claire's silent, pleading eyes, I had swallowed my pride time and time again. I even lost a promotion I had earned because Vice President Julian was prejudiced against me. That being the case, there's nothing wrong with me taking back what's mine, right? I offered a soft smile, ready to rip away Claire's paper-thin veil of innocence. Of course not. What else would you want me to think, Claire? I know Julian is a master of boundaries. You are the one who shouldn't overthink things. Claire looked as if she had just swallowed a fly. Julian, finally catching on, realized Claire's sweet request for him to serve me was just another one of her games. He was already swamped with a new project, and the little time he'd managed to carve out for dinner was being wasted on yet another one of her loyalty tests. He slammed his palm on the table. "That is enough, Claire," he said, his voice dangerously low. "How many times are we going to do this? When is this ridiculous charade going to end?" He rarely got this angry, especially not in front of others. Being his thunderous expression, Claire knew she'd gone too far. She grabbed his arm, her voice laced with panic. "Julian, it is not like that. My hands were just my new manicure. I just couldn't serve her myself. I thought you are my boyfriend and she is my best friend. I didn't think either of you would mind, right? That fresh manicure is so inconvenient." The nerve of her calling Sienna her best friend. You don't even remember your best friend's birthday. Some best friend sabotaging her scholarship, hiring someone to do her makeup badly, spreading rumors to make yourself look better. Sienna, honey, her boyfriend is the most important thing to her, right? The thing she uses you to test day in and day out. Just take him. Let's see how she keeps up her act then. Normally I am against putting women against each other. But with a friend this toxic, I fully support Sienna using him to get that promotion and a raise. A true leading lady doesn't avoid men. She steps on them to get to the top. A gaze shifted from the floating comments back to the tense couple across from me. I had lit the fuse. Mistrust was already creeping in, and a full-blown argument was imminent. My work here was done. It was my birthday after all. I wasn't about to let someone so toxic ruin it. Grabbing my bag, I stood up, my voice dripping with faux apology. "I am so sorry to cut this short. My colleagues are throwing me a small birthday celebration, so I should get going. I'll leave you two lovebirds to it." Claire's eyes went wide with theatrical shock. She grabbed my arm, feigning a desperate apology, insisting she hadn't forgotten on purpose. As if a self-absorbed person like her had never remembered my birthday. Once I gently pried her fingers off my arm. "It is okay. No one's ever really remembered my birthday, so I am used to it. If my colleagues hadn't insisted, I wouldn't even be celebrating. My birthday isn't important. Don't feel bad. You two, enjoy your evening." My passive-aggressive performance left her speechless, her face paling. Julian's brow furrowed, his grip tightening on his water glass. I knew my little sob story would work on a man like him. A wealthy scion raised on etiquette and propriety. He would feel a pang of guilt for ruining my birthday. Playing the victim, acting fragile. A girl who grew up in the system like me learns that from birth. Of course the performance had to be complete. The moment I was outside, I called a few colleagues and invited them out for a drink at a nearby bar. We were in the middle of our celebration when a familiar face appeared. I knew he would come. He'd show up, pay the bill, and express his apologies for the evening's fiasco. My colleagues were surprised to see our vice president. "Mr. Thorne, what? What are you doing here?" Julian was the picture of casual composure. "I was in the booth next door and saw you all. Just wanted to say hello." He glanced at me, then at the small cake on our table. "Is it someone's birthday? Tonight we'll have a great time. Put everything on my tab." My colleagues, seeing nothing amiss, erupted in cheers. "You are the man, Mr. Thorne." After he left, comments went wild. Well, now the little princess couldn't help herself. She and Julian had a massive fight. She is actually insane. She asks her boyfriend to serve her friend, then screams at him for serving her friend. What is next? Demanding he personally feed her. She told him to go find Sienna. And this stubborn guy actually did it. Just tell him to go marry Sienna. Please. And thank you. Rich boys have always had a soft spot for the damsel in distress. The only reason he disliked Sienna before was because of the princess's games. Now he just feels sorry for her. Regardless, he is going to be a huge asset to Sienna's career. I hope she doesn't let some misplaced sense of morality get in the way of this golden opportunity to leap up the social ladder. I lingered in the shadows of the bar, a small smile playing on my lips. After everyone had their fill of fun, they began catching cabs home. I saw the last of my colleagues off and was about to hail a ride myself when a car pulled up in front of me, a familiar sports car. The window rolled down to reveal a familiar face. Julian looked at me, his tone leaving no room for argument. It is late. It'll be hard to get a cab. I'll take you. I took a deliberate step back, creating distance. No thank you. Given our situation, it could be easily misunderstood. The unspoken meaning hung in the air. Claire would lose her mind. His jaw tightened, his sharp gaze faltering for a second. There is nothing to misunderstand, he said coolly. Get in. I can't park here. A car behind him honked. Had no choice but to open the passenger door and slide in. As I reached for the seatbelt, I stopped. Oh, I am so sorry, I said, my voice filled with apology. I think I am in Claire's special seat. Could you pull over up ahead? I should probably sit in the back. Ha! Sienna knows exactly how to pour gasoline on a fire. Julian was probably starting to cool off, and now she has reminded him of all of Claire's drama. Julian didn't even look at me, face a motionless mask as he dismissed my suggestion. It is a seat. It is meant to be sat in. Nothing special about it. The rest of the drive was silent. When we arrived at my apartment building, I opened the door to get out, but he suddenly called my name. His dark eyes met mine. He hesitated for a moment before his lips parted. I am sorry. Claire was out of line tonight. I apologize on her behalf. An apology from him was a rare thing. Indeed, it is fine. I said she probably feels insecure. That is why she is always testing you. I understand. He didn't respond, clearly not agreeing with my assessment that he was the source of her insecurity. Then he raised a hand, holding out a small, elegant gift box. Happy birthday. Consider it compensation for a ruined evening. If you don't want it, feel free to throw it away. Before I could react, the car sped off into the night. The comments flared up. Afraid I might actually toss it. Sienna, baby, we can pretend to be above it all. But don't you dare throw that gift away. It is worth a fortune. I have to admit, for a guy born with a silver spoon, he has impeccable taste. Those earrings are perfect for you. You know your other earring is missing. It is a sign. Put the new ones on. Wait, did her old earring fall off in his car? Oh, when the little princess finds that, she is going to have a full-blown meltdown. The princess is going to block him from going to a crucial meeting with a major partner, pushing him away for good, and accidentally getting our girl a promotion in the process. This is going to be epic. I looked down at the gift box in my hands and untied the silk ribbon. Inside, nestled on a bed of velvet, was a pair of diamond earrings. They glittered brilliantly under the street lights. So, this is what real diamonds looked like. Suddenly I wanted them. I took off my remaining old earring and put the new ones on. Claire, since you are so eager to play, I'll play with you properly. The next morning, I walked into the office wearing the earrings. The diamonds caught the morning light with every step. The receptionist gasped. Sienna, those are gorgeous. They look like they cost more than my annual salary. I smiled modestly. They were a birthday gift. Exactly on cue, Claire walked through the revolving doors. Her eyes landed on my ears. The smile on her face disappeared. Comments immediately flooded my vision. There it is. The princess has spotted the earrings. 3, 2, 1. Claire hurried over, grabbing my wrist. Sienna, where did you get those? I blinked innocently. Oh, she pointed at my ear. The earrings. My birthday present. From who? I tilted my head. Does it matter? Her breathing grew uneven. It does if they're from Julian. I let out a small laugh. Why would you assume that? She stared at me without blinking. Because she already knew. She had bought Julian that exact brand years ago. He never remembered jewelry brands. Which meant, he had walked into the boutique himself. Picked these out himself. For another woman. Her nails dug into her palms. Before she could say anything else, the elevator opened. Julian stepped out with several executives. His gaze swept across the lobby, then paused on me. On the earrings. There was a brief flicker of satisfaction in his eyes. They suit you. Silence. The entire lobby heard him. Claire's face turned white. Comments exploded. Critical hit. Direct confirmation. The princess is buffering. Someone reboot her. Claire forced a smile. Julian, you bought those? Yes. For Sienna. It was a birthday present. His answer was calm. Matter of fact. Nothing romantic. Which somehow made it worse. Claire laughed stiffly. That's generous. He looked at her. You forgot her birthday. Her smile cracked. You embarrassed your friend in public. You should apologize. Every employee nearby suddenly found the marble floor fascinating. No one dared breathe. Claire's lips trembled. Of course. She turned to me. Sienna, I'm sorry. She sounded like every word hurt. I smiled gently. It's all right. I've already accepted that birthdays aren't important. Another knife. Straight into her pride. Comments applauded. Our girl has mastered emotional damage. No yelling. No fighting. Just facts. And facts hurt the most. Claire almost bit through her lipstick. Just then Julian's assistant rushed over. Vice President Thorne. The delegation from Orion Capital is waiting. The comments instantly changed direction. It's today. The meeting the princess ruins. Watch carefully. Claire suddenly grabbed Julian's sleeve. You can't go. I still haven't finished talking. His brows knitted together. It can wait. It can't. You've been distant all night. You owe me an explanation. He gently removed her hand. I have work. She blocked his path again. No. We settle this first. Several executives exchanged awkward looks. The assistant checked his watch. Sir. Julian's patience finally snapped. Claire. This project involves hundreds of millions. I've postponed enough things because of your tests. I'm leaving. He stepped around her. She instinctively reached out to stop him again. Her fingernails accidentally hooked onto his tie. The silk tightened. He stumbled half a step. Coffee from a passing employee splashed across his suit. The entire lobby froze. Comments screamed. There it is. She actually delayed him. History is repeating itself. Except this time everyone saw it. Julian slowly looked down at the stain on his suit, then at Claire. There was no anger. Only exhaustion. Real exhaustion. For the first time Claire looked afraid. Not because he was yelling. Because he wasn't. I'll have my assistant contact you. His voice was flat. I need some space. He turned and walked away without another glance. Claire stood motionless. As the elevator doors closed, she whipped around to glare at me. It lasted only a second before she forced tears into her eyes. Sienna. You think you're happy now? I've never wanted to steal anything from you. I looked at her quietly. Really? She nodded desperately. Never. The comments turned icy. Liar. Ask her about the scholarship. Do it. I smiled. Then tell me something. The anonymous report that caused my scholarship to be revoked. That wasn't you, was it? The color drained from her face. For one fatal second, she forgot to answer. Claire's pupils contracted. Just for a fraction of a second. Then tears welled in her eyes. Sienna, why would you even ask me that? She reached for my hand. I stepped back. I was just curious. Her lips quivered. Of course it wasn't me. I spent years helping you after that happened. How could you think I'd hurt you? Comments scrolled furiously. She's lying. Look at her eyes. She didn't deny it immediately. She stalled. Because she's thinking. She doesn't know how much Sienna knows. Claire forced out a laugh. Did someone say something to you? I smiled. No. I just suddenly remembered something. What? The report was anonymous. The person knew exactly which documents to submit. They also knew I'd lose my scholarship immediately. I realized. Very few people actually knew where I kept those documents. Claire's breathing became uneven. Years ago, after receiving the scholarship, I had proudly shown the acceptance letter to only 3 people. The department secretary, my advisor, and Claire. At the time I had never questioned it. Now I did. Claire quickly composed herself. There were plenty of people who knew. You're overthinking. Maybe. I shrugged. I'm planning to ask the university to reopen the investigation anyway. Her smile vanished. What? It was years ago. So, the record should still exist. I heard universities archive everything. I've always wondered who hated me enough to do it. Her fingers trembled. Comments nearly flew off the screen. Yes. Don't accuse her. Let her panic. A guilty person destroys themselves. Watch. Claire forced another smile. Sienna. Is it really worth digging up the past? I've already paid for your education. I thought. We'd moved on. There it was. The familiar guilt. The invisible chain she'd wrapped around my neck for years. Before I would have apologized. Today I only looked at her. You did help me. I'm grateful. But gratitude isn't the same as giving someone permission to ruin your life. Her expression stiffened. I never ruined your life. I hope that's true. I walked past her. Because if it is, you have nothing to worry about. That afternoon the office buzzed with gossip. Everyone had seen the confrontation. Everyone had noticed Vice President Thorne leaving without Claire. Even more shocking, he canceled their usual lunch reservation. Comments laughed. The princess has checked his location 17 times. He ignored every call. She's spiraling. Meanwhile, Sienna, go get your promotion. At 3 o'clock my manager hurried over. Sienna, the Orion Capital proposal. The vice president specifically requested you join the presentation. I raised an eyebrow. Me? Yes. He said you know the market analysis better than anyone. Around the office, several coworkers looked over in surprise. One of them whispered, I thought Claire was supposed to be helping with that project. So did I. I quietly gathered my files. As I entered the conference room, Julian was already there. He looked up only briefly. Sit. No unnecessary pleasantries. Purely professional. The meeting began. For nearly 2 hours, I answered question after question from Orion's executives. When it ended, the lead investor smiled. Excellent presentation. We'll move forward. Hands were shaken around the table. A contract worth hundreds of millions was secured. The executives applauded. After everyone filed out, Julian remained behind. So, you were the one who wrote that market strategy. I nodded. Yes. I assumed Claire had. I let her take credit. His voice was calm, but there was unmistakable regret beneath it. I was wrong. He opened a folder and slid it across the table. Inside was an official promotion notice. My recommendation has already been approved. Effective immediately. You're the new project director. I looked at the document without touching it. Comments erupted. Yes, take it. She earned this years ago. Don't refuse out of pride. This isn't charity. It's repayment. Julian met my eyes. This promotion isn't because of last night. It's because I finally read the reports closely enough to realize whose name should have been on them all along. Outside the glass walls of the conference room, Claire stood frozen. The promotion notice reflected clearly in her widening eyes. Claire completely unraveled. She stormed into Julian's office, demanding to know why Sienna had been promoted. Julian looked at her quietly. Because she earned it. You gave me her reports for years and claimed they were yours. Claire froze. You knew. I know now. He pushed a stack of documents across the desk. Every proposal, every strategy, every file had Sienna's original drafts attached. Claire had only changed the cover page. For the first time, Julian realized just how much Sienna had accomplished despite constantly being overshadowed. He ended the conversation with one sentence. Take a break from the company. It was the closest thing to a suspension. Claire immediately blamed me. She cried to our mutual friends, claiming I had seduced Julian for a promotion. Unfortunately for her, the office wasn't blind. Too many people had watched her use me as the other woman in her loyalty games for years. Instead of supporting her, people began distancing themselves. Some even apologized to me for believing the rumors she'd spread. Meanwhile, I quietly submitted a request to my university to reopen the anonymous scholarship complaint. A week later, the university replied. The original email account had been deleted years ago, but the complaint itself, IP logs, and attached documents had been archived. Comments exploded. She's finished. Digital footprints never disappear. The investigation took less than a month. The IP address belonged to the Emerson family home. The attached documents had been scanned on Claire's personal printer. There was no denying it anymore. When confronted, Claire tried blaming a hacker. No one believed her. The university publicly reinstated my scholarship record, issued a formal apology, and compensated me for the financial losses caused by the wrongful revocation. The news spread through our industry. My reputation, once stained by whispers, was completely restored. Julian learned another truth. Claire hadn't just sabotaged my scholarship. She had secretly hired makeup artists to make me look ridiculous at important events, anonymously reported me to HR, spread rumors that I chased wealthy men, and repeatedly took credit for my work. Each revelation chipped away at the image of the sweet, innocent girl he'd loved since childhood. Finally, he looked at her with exhausted eyes. I don't know who you are anymore. Then he walked away. This time he never came back. Without Julian's support and with her lies exposed, Claire lost her position in the company. Most of her friends cut contact. Her parents forced her into therapy after realizing how deeply her obsession and insecurity had consumed her. The perfect princess she'd spent years pretending to be disappeared overnight. The comments summed it up perfectly. She spent years testing everyone else. In the end, she was the one who failed every test. As for me, I accepted my compensation, settled into my new role as project director, and finally began living a life that belonged to me. Not in Claire's shadow. Julian occasionally tried to get closer, but this time I made him earn my trust instead of giving it away for free. His regret was real, but my future no longer depended on whether he loved me or not. I had already won the only thing that truly mattered, my own life back.